It's Tuesday, February 24th, today on Your Morning Atlantic. Here we snow again. Maritimers dig out after another powerful nor'easter slams the region. Your top news headlines in the forecast just ahead.
And today marks the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion into Ukraine. We talk with Dalhousie University Associate Professor Robert Hewish about the next steps when it comes to the conflict.
Plus, an excellent choice if you'd like to explore the idea of having a backyard chicken coop without committing to it permanently. Did you know you can hire a hen? We'll get all the details in our next Pet Talk. All that and so much more just ahead on the Tuesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Welcome to our humble abode. It is 6:01, 6:31 if you are in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I don't think it's Tuesday. In my head, it's not Tuesday.
I know.
That's why I was like someday.
Well, it feels like it's been Groundhog Day because we just, this winter season, we've just been getting storm after storm after storm. And clearing the driveway this morning, this snow, at least speaking for the Halifax area, very heavy. Yeah. Just got a notice for students in the Halifax Regional Center for Education that schools are canceled for today because of road conditions. Yeah. So the road conditions, as we all know when we got up this morning, not great. No, very slushy.
So if you do have to get out and about today, do make sure you are taking your time. We're living in the house of Stark because winter is not coming, it's here.
Exactly.
It's been here.
Yeah. Poor House of Stark, they didn't have the best outcomes.
No.
But what can we expect for today?
Exactly like what you just mentioned.
The House of Stark.
I got stuck this morning from the first time out of all of these snowstorms we've had. I had to chase down a plow early this morning. A lot of people in my area stuck trying to push cars out of the way. Yeah. So hopefully you were kind of shoveling as this heavier snowfall fell yesterday. Still falling early this morning. So as you mentioned, road conditions are not the greatest in some areas, as well as that blowing snow still persisting early in the morning. But good news is it's going to start to clear out.
Okay.
At least.
Ooh, that is
the roads don't look too terrible. Plows have been out through the course of the day.
Absolutely. Right? Main roads are much better than the back roads, and you're going to see early this morning. So just make sure to take your time out on your commute. As of right now, -2 degrees in Halifax. We do have a risk of freezing rain early this morning and some snowfall still falling before it transitions over to flurries and then clears out. So as of right now, -4 degrees in Fredericton, -1 in Charlottetown, and in 1 degree actually in Sydney, -16 in Labrador City, -1 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Still seeing the wind chill factor in early this morning, but temperatures will rise above seasonal for parts of the Maritime region a little bit later on. There is a risk of frostbite over in parts of Labrador this morning, and we are going to see temperatures warm up there as well. A snowfall warning remains for parts of Prince Edward Island as well as New Brunswick. We do have a winter storm warning in effect for parts of all 3 maritime provinces, as well as the winter storm warning remains across parts of Newfoundland and into Labrador with a blowing snow advisory as well. So here's a look at this current system moving through the region. As I mentioned, some blowing snow early this morning for parts of the Maritime region. Rain mixed with snow early this morning with the risk of freezing rain across parts of Nova Scotia. Newfoundland, Labrador seeing that heavier snowfall, that blowing snow as well. So keep that in mind if you are trying to get out on a commute this morning. In terms of the wind, going to remain quite strong, diminishing into the afternoon. But as of right now, 59 kilometers per hour in North Cape. We're looking at 48 into Moncton as well as into Yarmouth, 46 in St. John, New Brunswick. Wind gusts of up to 76 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 70 in Moncton, 69 in St. John, New Brunswick. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast coming up, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. And that is where we began. Atlantic Canadians waking up to more snow as a large and powerful nor'easter barrels down on the region. Companies around here have been expecting outages, and this morning there are more than 4,700 Nova Scotia power customers offline. Restoration times are for this early afternoon, and in New Brunswick, close to 800 customers are without electricity. Flights at local airports are still seeing delays and cancellations this morning, and ferries also still impacted by the storm and its lasting impacts. Most HRM services and offices are delayed opening until 10 this morning. This as crews worked overnight to clear streets. Latavia will have the latest details on when the system will be out of the region after our next break. In its latest budget, the Houston government is cutting the civil service and slashing the amount it distributes in grants in an effort to wrestle down Nova Scotia's $1.2 billion deficit. The finance minister says as revenues slow, spending needs to be reined in.
Came into government in 2021, we were facing many years of deferred maintenance in healthcare, in infrastructure, in schools, in services.
We see massive cuts and no explanation of where we will get back to balance. We don't see a province that's preparing itself for the real economic opportunities in front of it.
I would have held our departments to the budget that they were given. There was decisions made to give up revenue in terms of the bridge. There was a number of decisions made, and now guess who's paying for those bridge tolls? It's people that are losing their job.
This budget includes $18.9 billion in spending and a projected $17.3 billion in revenues, but there's also hundreds of job cuts to the civil service. A 5% reduction means a loss of 443 full-time equivalent jobs on top of the 162 already, while a 3% cut to the public service results in 423 fewer jobs at government agencies like Crown corporations and regional centers for education, while $130 million will be slashed in grants for social programming. Meantime, the province has introduced several new tax measures for electric vehicles and vaping to increase revenue. A single vehicle crash in western PEI has claimed the life of a 38-year-old man. RCMP say the man was driving on Route 2 in Carleton on Monday morning when his vehicle veered off the road and rolled over. Police did not identify the victim, but they confirmed he was from Prince County. He was the only person in the vehicle and was pronounced dead at the scene. 5 people wound up injured after a fire broke out in a house in Nova Scotia's Kings County over the weekend. The blaze broke out on Brooklyn Street around 10 a.m. 5 people had to be treated for smoke inhalation, including 2 who had climbed onto the roof and wound up getting hurt jumping off. A number of local departments responded, but the flames spread quickly and heavy equipment had to be brought in to pull the structure apart. The Red Cross is assisting the victims. The investigation into how it started is ongoing. There is every likelihood the Jansen Baker double murder trial will wind up in the hands of the jury this week. The defense finished presenting its evidence on Monday. Baker stands accused in the shooting deaths of Bernard and Rosemarie Saunier in their home in Dieppe in September of 2019. He's pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder. The jury was dismissed until Wednesday with strict instructions from the judge not to discuss the case or review any of the media coverage. Finally, Canadian Olympic athletes have been arriving back home, and that includes a Maritimer many of us very proud of. There on the left, Moncton speed skater Courtney Saroux touched down to tears from friends and family in Montreal last night. Saroux became the most decorated maritime Olympian in history, winning 4 medals at Milano Cortina 2026. Monday night, she told reporters choosing a highlight from the experience was nearly impossible.
Getting 4 medals, I feel like that was a highlight every time. Just the whole experience, the Olympic experience, meeting the other athletes, watching other sports, kind of seeing all of Canada come together to support their athletes. It's just been a crazy experience and I'm just super proud to represent Canada and have that support behind me. And they were there for every medal and even I fell in my last distance. They were all there rooting for me still and proud of me regardless.
Saro's success at the Games seems to have sparked a renewed interest in the sport of speed skating in her home province of New Brunswick and beyond. Brianne had an interview about that yesterday on the show. By the way, family members asked to see her medals at the airport, but she was heard to say they'd have to wait because she packed them.
That's fair.
That's super fair.
She said, I have so many, they're so heavy.
Yeah, like weighing her carry-on down, you know? So I understand packing them for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But so wonderful to see her back on Canadian soil.
Yes, absolutely. And that conversation was with Cheryl McDonald from Sport New Brunswick. And she actually talked about how Saro took a step back from training in 2024 because training every day wasn't doing what she needed it to do. So just...
it worked.
Yeah, sure it did.
Clearly, yeah.
Sure it did.
Amazing.
All right, so it's February 24th, and it's Estonia Day. So this important holiday marks the day in 1918 when Estonia declared its independence from Russia after centuries of foreign rule. So despite facing challenges throughout its history, Estonia has emerged as a thriving nation known for its advancements in technology and culture. And on this day, Estonians come together to honor their past and look towards a bright future filled with freedom and progress. And it looks beautiful.
Wow.
Right?
Stunning.
Peaceful.
Yeah. So, you know, happy.
No nor'easter there.
No nor'easter there.
At least in these images.
Just impacting us in this region.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't mind being there right now. That was a nice little escape.
It was.
Not what we're seeing.
No.
Wow. Well, you know, it's good business, I guess, if you're a snowplow operator, or if you invested in a snowblower this year, it's the right year to do it.
Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to you.
Buy a lottery ticket.
Buy one. True. All right, still ahead, we're going to have a first look at your national and international news headlines on this Tuesday morning, and Latavia's got more details on when this nor'easter is going to be out of here, but you know usually what that means. It leaves the Maritimes, it hits Newfoundland and Labrador. The forecast is next.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 6:14 on your Tuesday morning. We're taking a live look at Charlottetown. -2 degrees starting off your day. Still seeing snow and blowing snow in your area early this morning. So keep that in mind when you are heading out. Road conditions not the greatest over there as well. Weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app. A warmer start to the day, at least for the Maritime region. As of right now, -4 degrees in Fredericton with -2 in Halifax, 2 degrees in Sydney, and 0 starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. Still seeing a snowfall warning in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. This will end a little bit later this morning. Seeing an additional 2 to 5 centimeters of snowfall with a winter storm warning also in effect for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. Looking at around 2 to 5 centimeters of additional snowfall. Wind gusts could get up to 70 kilometers per hour. A winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Labrador until this evening. Could see around 2 to 20 centimeters of snowfall, so quite a broad snowfall totals. And wind gusts could get up to 100 kilometers per hour. A winter storm warning also remains until later tonight for parts of Labrador, around 10 to 25 centimeters, wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour, with a blowing snow advisory for overnight tonight. Keep that in mind if you are in that area. Visibility could become an issue. So over to our forecast timeline. The remnants of this nor'easter still situated across parts of the Maritime region. Looking at snow, blowing snow early this morning for parts of the Maritimes, as well as a risk of freezing rain across parts of Nova Scotia. Because of those warmer temperatures early this morning, we are seeing snow mixed with rain for parts of the Maritime region, as well as into parts of Newfoundland, and then seeing that heavier snow, blowing snow from much of Newfoundland and parts of Labrador early this morning. Into the afternoon, we start to see the snow transition over to a chance of flurries and then start to clear out of parts of the Maritime region, leaving a cloudier day ahead, but still seeing Prince Edward Island, much of Nova Scotia, still dealing with a chance of some flurry activity into this evening as well. So Newfoundland, Labrador, still seeing that heavier snowfall. Taking us into tonight, we start to see a little bit of this system clear out for parts of Newfoundland, but we do still have mixed precipitation over there. And at Cape Breton Island, still seeing some flurry activity into the overnight hours, carrying us into early Wednesday morning. We'll start to see those flurries clear out. Sunshine returns to the forecast, but also flurries return for parts of the Maritime region. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, quite low considering what we saw yesterday. An additional 1 to 5 centimeters expected for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. Heaviest being around 5 to 10 centimeters of additional snow for North Mountain. And then for Labrador, looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters and 1 to 15 centimeters of accumulation for parts of Newfoundland. In terms of our rainfall outlook, going to remain quite light for parts of Nova Scotia and seeing around 2 to 10 millimeters for parts of Newfoundland. For our forecast today for New Brunswick, looking at snow that will transition over to flurries later this morning that will clear out into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies with highs between -6 to -1, wind gusts of 60 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island, highs between -2 to 0. We are going to see snow transition over to flurries for the remainder of the day, wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, highs will range from -2 to 4 degrees. Flurries and or showers expected throughout your day today, wind gusts of 60. Then for the rest of Nova Scotia, showers and or flurries will clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies into the late afternoon with highs between -2 to +1. And then for Labrador City, a bit of sunshine for parts of Labrador, but for the most part, looking at a high of -16 degrees for Labrador City, a chance of flurries expected throughout your day. 5 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain and or snow moving in for that part of the province. Wednesday, we are going to see flurries wrap back around, some mixed precipitation yet again for parts of the Maritime region. Temperatures will continue to warm up, so that's what we're expecting into Thursday's forecast. Wednesday, we're looking at sunshine, but a chance of some isolated flurries remaining. And then into our forecast for into Thursday, later in the morning, we do still have a bit of mixed precipitation, showers and or flurries for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. That will clear out into Thursday night, though, seeing sunshine yet again for Friday with a chance of flurries. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Air Canada, WestJet, Air Transat and Porter are resuming operations to Mexico today after a wave of violence rocked the country, prompted by the killing of a notorious cartel kingpin. Global Affairs Canada says the situation remains fluid and that there are more than 26,000 Canadians registered in Mexico. CTV's Avery Haynes has the latest.
Retaliation for the killing of Jalisco New Generation cartel leader El Mencho has been fiery and swift. From the streets to stores to the airport in Guadalajara, armed narcos storming in with travelers running for their lives. At least 73 people have been killed, including 25 members of the National Guard and cartel members. Mexico is on edge with fears about what might come next.
Pueden estar tranquilos de que
Here in Mexico City, President Claudia Sheinbaum urges calm. But killing El Mencho has not killed his powerful cartel, which controls huge swaths of the country. In 2023, W5 interviewed El Mencho's hitmen called Sicarios for a documentary on their control of the avocado industry. They brought their firepower to that interview, insisting they live and die by the mantra that to instill fear and terror is to control. The Jalisco cartel is known for its extreme and very public displays of violence, not just killing, but dismembering and displaying their crimes publicly. The capture and killing of El Mencho follows intense pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump and threats of a U.S. military strike if the flow of drugs flooding into the U.S. doesn't stop.
President Trump has been outspoken about his desire to see Mexico do more.
The question remains, is taking out the leader enough to stop the violence and stop the drug flow? Or will rival cartels smell weakness and wage war to gain territory of the Jalisco cartel?
CTV's Avery Haynes reporting in Mexico City. Now to a diplomatic sideswipe from the White House after the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team beat Canada for gold.
Breaks the pass. What a play by Trump.
President Trump posting an AI-generated video of himself scoring the winning goal and body-checking Canadian players while wearing a navy suit and red tie. And FBI Director Kash Patel is facing backlash after videos surfaced of him chugging beer and partying with the U.S. team in their locker room. And in a phone call from the celebrations, Trump invited the U.S. hockey champs to the upcoming State of the Union and joked he would be impeached if he also didn't invite the women's team. They declined his invite. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll have your must-see moment from our colleagues at TSN and your top business headlines. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's time now to check in with our friends at TSN Sports Center for your must-see moment of today.
How's it going? Jermaine Franklin inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. For it, we go to Florida. Grapefruit lead, spring training is underway. Mets, Jays, Dalton Varsho hits one high. Up in the air, down the left field line. Nicholas Morabito, makes the beautiful catch as he runs into the wall. Great play in foul territory by the Mets outfielder. Baseball is back, and that's your must-see moment from Monday. And tonight on TSN, Tangerine Raptors basketball. Thunder taking on the Raptors. Pre-game begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
This TSN must-see moment brought to you by J.R. Rahe's Furniture and Appliances.
Now we'll take a look at your business headlines from our colleagues over at BNN.
The EU says it is seeking clarity from the White House after Donald Trump increased his global tariff threat to 15%. The move comes after the Supreme Court blocked parts of President Donald Trump's trade agenda last week. The European Commission says the U.S. needs to honor its tariff deal with the EU, adding that sudden, unpredictable levies disrupt markets and supply chains. Today, the S&P 500 finished the day down more than a percentage point, and European stocks fell 0.5%. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar closed a cent lower, finishing at 72.99. West Texas Intermediate dropped to 66.49. Western Canadian Select was up 33 cents to end the day, and the TSX finished the day lower at 33,776. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Taking a look at our 3-day forecast, starting off in New Brunswick, a high of -3 degrees today. Snow changes over to flurries, clearing out into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies. On Wednesday, -4, flurries return, snow into the evening. And then on Thursday, 2 degrees with scattered flurries across the province. For Nova Scotia, looking at a high of 1 degree, we do have rain and or snow that will clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Flurries return into the evening, though. On Wednesday, 0 with isolated flurries transitioning over to snow. And then on Thursday, 3 degrees, a bit of sunshine, but also seeing snow return for Cape Breton Island. Prince Edward Island, -2 degrees today, blowing snow transitions over to flurries. And then on Wednesday, -2 yet again, a mix of sun and clouds. Snow returns into the evening. On Thursday, 1 degree, looking at some flurries with a bit of sunshine.
Coming up in this half hour, the Move Morning Chat. And today we're talking about one of our favorite subjects. Yep, it's food. And we want you to make a very tough choice. We'll explain in about 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for being up so bright and early with us this morning. If you still have to shovel, clear the driveway, get the snowblower out, good luck to you, because it is heavy out there today. But perhaps for some people, they're not in as much of a rush today because we have widespread school closures. They're all coming in right now. We're going to get a detailed list up on our website. But essentially, long story short, all schools in Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia closed today. All of them. And in New Brunswick, select schools are open, more in like the western parts of New Brunswick, but still seeing widespread closures in New Brunswick as well, but it's not the entire province.
Interesting.
Another snow day.
Another snow day. Here we go again.
Here we go again. I have to say, so my son had the early dismissal yesterday for the Halifax area. And it was perfect timing in terms of when the bus arrived 2 hours early, the flakes were just starting to fall. And I have to say, when we were back inside our house, it really picked up, and I was thinking, I'm glad I'm not picking him up right now, or the bus isn't driving in this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I stayed in. I made spaghetti yesterday because it was like, that was the vibe, you know?
Spaghetti.
Nice hearty meal.
Classic Italian.
Classic Italian.
Makes us think about,
Food. All right, what are people cooking today when it comes to weather?
Definitely a hearty meal. Yeah. It's not too cold, though, which is interesting. Yeah, we're starting to see temperatures warm up yet again, above seasonal for parts of the region. But as you can see, road conditions are not the greatest in parts of Atlantic Canada. Keep that in mind when you are heading out early this morning. It is -3 degrees over in Moncton. We are going to see snowfall early this morning for parts of the Maritime region before clearing out. As of right now, it is -4 as well in Fredericton, -2 degrees in Charlottetown and Halifax, 2 degrees over in Sydney, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Still seeing the wind chill factor in for parts of the Maritime region, so it's going to still feel a bit cooler. Temperatures rising into the afternoon for our daytime highs. We do have that risk of frostbite for parts of Labrador. A snowfall warning remains in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. A winter storm warning for all 3 maritime provinces, with a winter storm warning also in effect until later this evening for parts of Newfoundland and into parts of Labrador, with a blowing snow advisory early this morning. In terms of our satellite and radar, we are going to see, as I mentioned, some blowing snow, a snowfall early this morning for parts of the Maritime region, rain mixed with snow for parts of Nova Scotia with the risk of freezing rain. And then for Newfoundland and Labrador, going to see that snow, blowing snow, so visibility could be an issue early in the morning, with a bit of mixed precipitation as well for parts of Newfoundland. A breezy start to your day. As of right now, sustained wind 59 kilometers per hour in North Cape with 54 in Moncton. 46 into Yarmouth. Wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour right now in North Cape, 74 in Moncton, 70 in Yarmouth. We'll take another look at your forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
And that is where we began. Atlantic Canadians waking up to more snow and heavy snow as a large and powerful nor'easter barreled down on the region. Due to poor road conditions this morning, all schools in Nova Scotia and PEI are closed today, as well as many but not all schools in New Brunswick. This was the scene across the region overnight. Power companies around here, they've been expecting outages, and this morning there are more than 4,700 Nova Scotia power customers offline. Restoration times range for early this afternoon. And in New Brunswick, close to 800 customers are without electricity. Flights at local airports still seeing delays and cancellations, and ferries in the region also impacted by the weather. Most HRM services and offices are delaying opening until 10 a.m. Latavia will have the latest on the forecast and the next round of winter weather after our next break. Police in New Brunswick are looking for help in finding a suspect connected to an arson investigation. Kennebecasis Regional Police say they were called to a fire at a business on Enterprise Drive back on February 9th. Fortunately, the flames were quickly extinguished, but there was some damage. Investigators believe it was deliberately set. They think this vehicle may be connected. A 2006 to 2008 Ford Explorer with a loud exhaust. Anyone with information is asked to contact Kennebecasis Police. A political storm of sorts at the Nova Scotia legislature as the Houston government brought down its latest budget. The province is cutting the civil service and slashing the amount it distributes in grants in an effort to wrestle down its billion-dollar deficit. CTV's Jesse Thomas has details.
The budget includes record spending but delivers another deficit. $1.19 billion is the projected shortfall. The finance minister says as revenues slow, spending needs to be reined in.
Came into government in 2021. We were facing many years of deferred maintenance in healthcare, in infrastructure, in schools, in services.
The budget includes $18.9 billion in spending and a projected $17.3 billion in revenues, but there's also hundreds of job cuts to the civil service. A 5% reduction means the loss of 443 full-time equivalent jobs on top of the 162 already, while a 3% cut to the public service results in 423 fewer jobs at government agencies like Crown corporations, while $130 million will be slashed in grants for social programming.
We had seen a significant increase in staffing during COVID, and realizing that COVID's over, we need to look at how we best function.
The province has introduced several new tax measures to increase revenue, including a 2% increase or 6% tax on financial organizations. That's expected to bring in nearly $38 million annually. Nova Scotia will also introduce an electric vehicle tax, $500 every 2 years and $250 for hybrids. That'll generate about $3.5 million annually. and a new vaping tax model that will bring in $11.7 million more this year.
We see massive cuts and no explanation of where we will get back to balance. We don't see a province that's preparing itself for the real economic opportunities in front of it.
I would have held our departments to the budget that they were given. There was decisions made to give up revenue in terms of the bridge. There was a number of decisions made, and now guess who's paying for those bridge tolls? It's people that are losing their job.
Government agencies who lost funding were not identified at the budget release. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Jesse. 5 people wound up injured after a fire broke out in a house in Nova Scotia's Kings County over the weekend. The blaze broke out on Brooklyn Street around 10 a.m. 5 people had to be treated for smoke inhalation, including 2 who had climbed onto the roof and wound up getting hurt jumping off. A number of local departments responded, but the flames spread quickly and heavy equipment had to be brought in to pull the structure apart. The Red Cross is helping those impacted, and the investigation into how the fire started is ongoing. Finally, Valentine's Day may have come and gone, but love is still in the air. One of the stars of the Lord of the Rings trilogy enthusiastically assisted with a special Valentine's Day proposal at a fan expo in Vancouver. So the plan was 6 months in the making. Matthew Purdy enlisted the help of actor John Rhys Davies, who's there on the left, who played Gimli in the trilogy, so this is his real size. The couple say they bonded over the films during the early days of their dating nearly a decade ago.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is everything I needed and more.
Really? One ring to rule them all.
One ring to find them.
We'll go to the darker parts of it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll end it there.
John Rhys Davies, he's been to our region too. He's been here for fan expos, and he was here for a special performance with Symphony Nova Scotia as well, where he talked about the films. That was, that must have been maybe 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always, when I was in university, I would listen to scores. I'd go to the library and write, and like for my essays and everything, and I would always listen to scores, and it was like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally all the time.
They are classics.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
In university, learning about leitmotifs, you know, when like a certain musical theme just appears for particular characters, like hobbits, they always have that like very sweet, very folky song.
Yep. Anyways, we are not going to nerd out anymore. Actually, we are. Trading cards. Do you guys remember collecting those when you were younger?
Yes.
And a few holographic Pokemon cards.
All right,
well,
well, dig them out and your sports and other collectible trading cards, because it is National Trading Card Day. So this holiday celebrates love for collecting, trading various cards, like from baseball to Magic. But did you know that trading card games have been around since the 19th century?
Oh.
Yeah, they were originally used as educational tools before becoming popular forms of entertainment. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this is perfect. And yes, here is Logan Paul, who had sold a Pokemon card for an extraordinary amount of money. This Pokemon card, in fact. So I guess he's celebrating Trading Card Day as well. So yeah. Happy Trading Card Day to all who celebrate.
To all. Did you two ever collect cards?
I had the Pokemon cards. And then I collect random sports cards. So like all over the map. Like I think I have a Michael Jordan one somewhere.
Whoa.
Cool.
And that's, you know, all I care about.
Yeah. I got a lot of baseball cards, like 2 big bags of them. My cousins passed down, Pokemon binders. So I got to sift through them, see if they're anything worth
anything good there.
Anything worth something.
Well, you guys sift through your Pokemon cards as we take a break here. Next, we have the Move Morning Chat. And today we want to know if you could only eat one cuisine from a country for the rest of your life, what would it be? Stay with us.
Happy Tuesday. The time now is 6:44. A wet start to the day over in St. John's, Newfoundland. Currently 0, but we do have rain in your area. Keep that in mind when you are heading out. We've seen that snow change over to rain for the remainder of the day. As of right now, it is -4 degrees in Fredericton, -2 in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 2 degrees in Sydney, -17 degrees over in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Snowfall warning remains for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. That will end a little bit later this morning. See an additional 2 to 5 centimeters of accumulation. Winter storm warning also in effect for parts of all 3 maritime provinces at around 2 to 5 centimeters additional snowfall expected. Wind gusts could get up to 70 kilometers per hour. Winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Labrador until later this evening at around 2 to 20 centimeters of snowfall. Wind gusts ranging from 60 to 100. And then we also have a winter storm warning for parts of Labrador at around 10 to 25 centimeters of snow and wind gusts 60 to 80 with a blowing snow advisory until overnight tonight. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. So we are seeing snow, blowing snow early this morning for parts of the Maritime region. That will switch over to flurries for the remainder of the morning until the afternoon. We'll start to see that clear out. For Nova Scotia, looking at rain mixed with snow early in the morning, a risk of freezing rain. But because of those warmer temperatures, we are going to see some of that mixed precipitation remain in parts of Newfoundland. Still seeing that heavier snowfall, though, so visibility could be an issue if you are heading out on a commute. Into the afternoon, as I mentioned, a chance of flurries remains for parts of all 3 maritime provinces, really beginning to clear out into the evening hours, still remaining isolated flurries expected for parts of Cape Breton Island, Newfoundland, Labrador, still dealing with that mixed precipitation. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, it's going to be quite light today. An additional 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of all 3 maritime provinces, the heaviest being North Mountain at around 5 to 10 centimeters, and looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters for parts of Labrador, heaviest being 10 to 15 centimeters for parts of Newfoundland. So if you're wondering about our rainfall outlook, quite light. It's not going to see any totals for Nova Scotia, but looking at around 2 to 10 millimeters for parts of Newfoundland. For forecast today for New Brunswick, light snowfall transitions over to flurries, clearing out into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Wind out of the north today, 40 gusting to 60, and daytime highs will range from -6 to -1. Prince Edward Island looking at snow that transitions over to flurries for the remainder of the day. Highs between -2 to 0. Wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour remain. And for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, flurries and/or showers expected throughout your day today. Wind gusts of 60. Daytime highs between -2 to 4 degrees. For the rest of Nova Scotia, showers and/or flurries that will clear into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies. We will be seeing a chance of isolated flurries return, though, into the evening. Highs between -2 to +1. And then Labrador, seeing a bit of sunshine, but also seeing a chance of flurries throughout your day. A high of -16 degrees for Labrador City, 5 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland. Rain and/or snow, but looking at rain throughout the day right now. So into our forecast for Wednesday, temperatures still warming up. Probably the warmest day of the work week for the Maritime region, remaining above seasonal for our daytime highs. We will be seeing a bit of sunshine, but also seeing the return of snow and/or flurries. And looking here for Nova Scotia, mixed precipitation remains yet again. Newfoundland, Labrador still dealing with some snowfall, and that takes us into Thursday's forecast. We start to see the system move into Newfoundland and Labrador, bringing mixed precipitation to Newfoundland. For the Maritime region, still seeing showers and/or flurries remain, and that will clear out as we head towards Thursday night. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to the Move Morning Chat.
Well, we are hungry this morning for the Move Morning Chat. Our friends Aaron and Peter join us in radio, and today we are talking about favorite types of food. Specifically, if you could have cuisine from one country for the rest of your life, what country would that be? What cuisine would that be, and why? Aaron and Peter, what are your choices?
Oh, we love talking about food. I am obsessed with Vietnamese food. Now, I grew up in Calgary, where there is a Vietnamese restaurant on literally every corner of the city. So I just always grew up having, you know, gorgeous rice vermicelli bowls and things like that. But in particular, I would choose Vietnamese food forever because of their banh mi sandwiches. I am obsessed. They are made on like a crispy baguette. There's usually some sort of like pate on there, and you can get chicken or pork and pickled vegetables, lots of cilantro. I cannot get enough of a banh mi sandwich. So I am choosing Vietnamese cuisine for the rest of my life.
Okay. Well, you know, Italians make pretty good sandwiches, too.
Well,
I feel like mine is going to be a very popular choice. If I could only have the food from Italy, I would be very, very, very happy. And I've never met a food I didn't like, really. But Italian cuisine is so varied, much more than just pasta or just pizza. I mean, so many great fish foods in the south of Italy. They are known for some of the best beef in the world, too. And so from one end of the country to the other, the food changes. And I would be very happy if I could only eat Italian food for the rest of my life.
Yum. Yum to all.
Which one are you picking?
If I had to choose, it's a tough one. I'm biracial. My daddy's Yugoslavian and Costa Rican, so I love those cuisines as well. But I'm going with Jamaican because a lot of my family is Jamaican descent, and they cook up a storm. So there's so many meals that I would love. Rice and peas is like my die-hard. Oxtail, curry goat, curry chicken, fresh patties with ackee and saltfish. Oh my goodness, I could go on and on and on. Heavier set food though, so spending summers eating just that has made me quite heavy in the past. So now I like to split it up every now and then, try a bit of other stuff. But yeah, that's my go-to.
Full and happy tummy, right?
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, this is so hard because the cuisine around the world is fantastic. But you know what? I think I got to go to India. I have to pick South Asian food, Indian food. There's this restaurant called Biplos on Portland Street in Dartmouth, and it serves the best Indian food I ever had. I am a monster when I get their food for takeout because I'm just eating so much. And I'm mourning the fact that I'm going to finish this food. From their tikka masala to their butter chicken, it is absolutely incredible. And what I love about Indian food, there's so much variety, beautiful sauces, and you are going to get exquisite flavor every time. You can tell that it's taken a lot of time and energy to cook those meals, and I gotta say, makes me happy every single time.
Yum.
Love it. All right, we need to get a snack. So while we get something to eat, we're asking you this question. If you could only eat cuisine from one country, what country are you choosing and why? Send us a text at 10400. We will share your answers later in the show.
Welcome back. It is just about to turn 6:55, so we think it's a perfect time to take a flight over to Hollywood for your entertainment headlines.
I need my Emily in Paris.
She's paid tribute to Audrey Hepburn multiple times in Emily in Paris. And now Lily Collins will be playing the late star on the big screen. Collins will star in a new movie about the making of Hepburn's 1961 Oscar-winning film Breakfast at Tiffany's. The truth will be out there again. Hulu greenlighting a reboot of The X-Files from Sinners director Ryan Coogler. Danielle Deadweiler will star as one of two FBI agents investigating unexplained phenomena. The original X-Files, starring David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, ran for 9 seasons on Fox and spun off 2 movies. On March 14th, Harry Styles will be returning to Saturday Night Live to pull double duty. He'll be the show's host and the musical guest, something he most recently did back in 2019. On March 6th, the singer and actor releases his new album called Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally.
I wanna be yours, pretty baby, yours and yours alone.
And rocker George Thorogood is 76 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Taking another look at our 3-day forecast. New Brunswick will see a high of -3 degrees today. Isolated flurries clearing, leaving mainly cloudy skies. On Wednesday, -4 degrees. Flurries transitions over to snow into the evening. And then on Thursday, scattered flurries warming up to 2 degrees. Nova Scotia looking at a high of 1 today. Rain and or snow will transition over to flurries before clearing out, leaving mainly cloudy skies into the afternoon. 0 on Wednesday. Isolated flurries transitions over to evening snow. A mix of sun and cloud, but snow returns into Cape Breton Island with a high of 3. Prince Edward Island, -2 degrees today, blowing snow, transitions over to flurries. And then on Wednesday, -2, a mix of sun and cloud, evening snow. Flurries on Thursday with a high of 1.
It's Tuesday, February 24th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, digging out again. Maritimers trying to clear the roads after another powerful nor'easter slams the region. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And 4 years of conflict. Today marks the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And we'll speak with Dalhousie University's Robert Hewish about the current situation and where things go from here. That and more coming up in this half hour of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. The time now is 7 o'clock on your Tuesday, and we are hoping for a safe commute for Maritimers,
Yes.
Newfoundland and Labrador, getting the heaviest of that storm now. So wishing you all the best.
Even though the storm is tapering off, I mean, road conditions, despite best efforts by our crews out there, still pretty difficult to get through. Very slushy, at least for the Halifax area. And because of these road conditions, that's why we're seeing all these widespread school closures.
Yeah,
today.
especially the back roads, right? The main roads are pretty good, right? So if you are taking a main road, but if you're trying to get out of one of the side streets, you know, and the plows have come by, there might be an excess buildup of snow there as well. So just lots to take into consideration as you head out on the roads. But what are we looking at, Latavia?
It's definitely, like Amanda said, tapering off, thank goodness. We are going to see snow mixed with rain for parts of Nova Scotia, becoming flurries, then clearing out. Here's a live look at Yarmouth, as you just saw, -2 degrees starting off your day. Same thing for Halifax and into Charlottetown. -4 in Fredericton, -8 degrees in Cartwright, and -2 over in St. Anthony. Factor in that wind chill, still going to feel a bit cooler early this morning, but temperatures are expected to rise for our daytime highs, becoming above seasonal for parts of the Maritime region. Still a risk of frostbite over in Labrador City this morning. A snowfall warning remains in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. Winter storm warning for all 3 maritime provinces, as well as a winter storm warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland and into parts of Labrador, with a blowing snow advisory as well. So here's a look at that remnant of that storm for the Maritime region. As I mentioned, some blowing snow, poor visibility early this morning for parts of the Maritime region. That will transition over to flurries before clearing out. For Nova Scotia, looking at rain mixed with snow, as well as a risk of freezing rain early in the morning, but also going to see some clearing into the afternoon. Newfoundland and Labrador seeing the heaviest of this storm now, so visibility could become an issue. Road conditions could be worse than what we're seeing in the Maritime region as of right now, so something to keep in mind when you are heading out. A breezy wind still remains for the Maritimes as of right now, 59 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 54 into Moncton, 33 in Greenwood, as well as into Lunenburg. Wind gusts of 80 kilometers per hour right now in North Cape, and 74 into Moncton and 70 into Yarmouth. We'll take another look at your long-range forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. That's where we began. Atlantic Canadians waking up to more snow as a large and powerful nor'easter barreled down on the region. Due to poor road conditions, all schools in Nova Scotia and PEI are closed today, as well as many, but not all, schools in New Brunswick. The cleanup continued overnight. Some good developing news this morning. Power companies around here, they said they were expecting outages. This morning, we're seeing more people being reconnected to the grid. Right now, more than 2,600 Nova Scotia Power customers are offline. That number was greater just an hour ago. And in New Brunswick, close to 300 customers are now without electricity. So that number also decreasing. Flights at local airports still seeing delays and cancellations, and some ferries being impacted by the storm. Most HRM services and offices are delayed opening until 10 a.m. Latavia will have more details on when the system will completely taper off in her next look at the forecast after our next break. And for more on conditions right now in Halifax, we go live to CTV's Emma Convey. Emma, how are conditions where you are right now?
Good morning, Amanda. It is a wintry morning out here, quite cold, lots of snow blowing around, and it's quite wet as well. Those snow overnight turning to rain, making conditions quite slippery and slushy. That goes for the roads as well. I also noticed this morning on my drive-in, lots of puddles as well, lots of slush. So keep that in mind, you know, if you're a commuter this morning, heading out to the roads. Now, looking at snow clearing efforts that took place overnight, we did see that continue on to the morning. Crews focusing on the main roads and the sidewalks. The city's asking people to please avoid non-essential travel. Now, taking a look over into transit, snow routes for Halifax Transit will also remain in effect, and there are no current impacts to ferry services as well. All schools around Nova Scotia and in PEI are also canceled, and a number of cancellations in New Brunswick as well. A few delayed openings we're seeing with parks and recreation facilities not opening until 10 a.m. Now, if you are heading out this morning and you might want to take a look around, you know, lots of snow piles, lots of snow. Conditions are again slushy, so just take extra time, precaution, give space. Also, that goes for the sidewalks as well, Amanda. I don't know if you can see behind me, but they're not all clear just yet. So be mindful if you're also out there walking too. I'll send it back to you, Amanda.
Good point. Boots with really good grip. CTV's Emma Convey reporting live for us on Roby Street in Halifax, and we'll be checking in with Emma throughout the morning. Thank you. To other news, a single vehicle crash in Western PEI has claimed the life of a 38-year-old man. RCMP say the man was driving on Route 2 in Carleton Monday morning when his vehicle veered off the road and rolled over. Police did not identify the victim, but they confirmed he was from Prince County. He was the only person in the vehicle and was pronounced dead at the scene. In its latest budget, the Houston government is cutting the civil service and slashing the amount it distributes in grants in an effort to wrestle down its $1.2 billion deficit. Nova Scotia's finance minister says as revenues slow, spending needs to be reined in.
Came into government in 2021, we were facing many years of deferred maintenance in healthcare, in infrastructure, in schools, in services.
We see massive cuts and no explanation of where we will get back to balance. We don't see a province that's preparing itself for the real economic opportunities in front of it.
I would have held our departments to the budget that they were given. There was decisions made to give up revenue in terms of the bridge. There was a number of decisions made, and now guess who's paying for those bridge tolls? It's people that are losing their job.
This budget includes $18.9 billion in spending and a projected $17.3 billion in revenues. There's also hundreds of job cuts to the civil service. A 5% reduction means the loss of 443 full-time equivalent jobs on top of the 162 already, while a 3% cut to the public service results in 423 fewer jobs at government agencies like Crown corporations and regional centers for education, while $130 million will be slashed in grants for social programming. Meantime, the province introducing several new tax measures for electric vehicles and vaping to increase revenue. Back to the weather. We'd love to hear how conditions are in your area. You can send us a text or weather photo to the number 10400. Also, a special shout out to our old friend and colleague, Victor Cormier. He was working hard last night. He sent us these videos of his evening snow clearing efforts in Lance, Nova Scotia. Lots of drifting snow there. You can see very high piles of snow too. He tells us he really had to create a passage for his cat Henry to use after this storm. He's got some good equipment there, doesn't he?
Right? Oh, yeah.
Right?
Victor, look at you go with your bad self.
Seriously, though.
Oh, I need to get me one of those.
Yeah.
That looks like the perfect thing to shovel this snow.
Oh, I know. And you know what? The snow, at least in that Halifax area, is so heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy, heavy this morning.
Yeah, definitely heavy. Not a sight we want to see.
No.
Yeah, I think we're over the winter.
Maybe. I mean, although probably some students are like, oh, snow day again.
Snow day! Also, I mean, it's still great that you can go and enjoy some outdoor weather activities, right? Okay, so have you guys seen the saddest and happiest thing on the internet yet?
Just yesterday.
Punch the monkey.
Yeah.
Punch the monkey at the Ichikawa Zoo in Japan, okay? So I can't. Like, this makes me bawl my eyes out. Punch lives near Tokyo, but his mother rejected him at birth. Luckily, the zookeepers became his surrogate, and they gave him this stuffed orangutan from IKEA so that he could cuddle up with it. But now he's at least making friends, and he's actually been accepted by Onsing, an adult monkey. But he was born in July and has had a tough time. So much so that the zoo has seen record-breaking numbers of people coming to support Punch.
Oh, poor Punch.
Oh. Yeah.
Who could reject that little baby?
I know, because he was introduced in January to the troop, and like they were rejecting him and they were just mean and bullying him at first. But don't you worry, you can follow Punch's adventures online, and he has friends now. See? Oh, Onsing, she got him, and she's holding him tight.
Sometimes he just nugs.
Oh my goodness.
But record-breaking numbers going to the zoo because people want to support Punch the monkey.
Did you say going to the gym?
Yes.
Yeah. Your mind's always. I was at the gym.
Yeah, I need a minute.
The music with the piano.
Oh my goodness.
Every time
seeing the photos of him hugging the like plushie, and I was like, what is going on? And then I saw the story yesterday.
Yeah. So
Punches
that's
you in
the
the
story, and I feel like that orangutan from IKEA is going to be sold out across the globe.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're gonna get some tissues. take a little breather. We're going to have a break. Coming up this half hour, still look at your national news headlines. And Latavia has the latest look at the Tuesday forecast as we say goodbye to this nor'easter and hello to the work ahead of us. But you have to admit, look at this. It's beautiful once it's all cleared. Good morning to Macadam in southern New Brunswick. We have the forecast right after this.
Welcome back. The time now is 7:14. We're taking a live look at Officer Square over in Fredericton, -4 degrees starting off your day. Looks like the snow has finally ended and you'll be left with mainly cloudy skies. Weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app. Not a bad start to the day, much warmer than yesterday's morning. As of right now, it is -2 degrees in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 2 over in Sydney, -18 degrees in Labrador City, and -2 degrees over in Gander. A snowfall warning remains in effect for parts of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. This will end a little bit later this morning. Only seeing around 2 to 5 centimeters of additional snowfall. Winter storm warning as well for parts of all 3 maritime provinces at around 2 to 5 centimeters of additional snow. And wind gusts will range from 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Winter storm warning until later this evening for parts of Newfoundland at around 2 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts between 60 to 100. And also have a winter storm warning in effect for parts of Labrador until later tonight. 10 to 25 centimeters of snow expected. Wind gusts between 60 to 80. And a blowing snow advisory until overnight tonight as well. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. We are starting to see some snow end for parts of the Maritime region, but for the most part, blowing snow still remains for parts of the Maritimes. That will clear out, leaving a chance of flurries. Now, Nova Scotia looking at snow mixed with rain, and we are going to see that transition over to flurry activity into the afternoon. Newfoundland looking at the heavier snowfall, blowing snow, so keep that in mind when you are heading out. Visibility could be an issue on roads. Quite slick as well, and we do have that mixed precipitation for that province. Labrador seeing snowfall as well. And then into the afternoon, as I mentioned, we start to see that clearing for parts, much of New Brunswick actually, and parts of southern Nova Scotia, parts of Cape Breton Island as well. Taking us into this evening, we are still left with flurry activity for parts of Cape Breton Island. Still seeing mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland. Labrador seeing that snowfall until early Wednesday morning. If you're wondering about additional totals, as I mentioned, quite light in its activity at around 1 to 5 centimeters of additional snowfall for parts of all 3 maritime provinces, heaviest being into North Mountain at 5 to 10 centimeters. Looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters as well for parts of Labrador, and 1 to 15 centimeters being the heaviest into St. Anthony. For our rainfall totals, quite light for Cape Breton Island, eastern Nova Scotia, and seeing around 2 to 10 millimeters of precipitation for parts of Newfoundland. For our forecast today for New Brunswick, snow transitions over to flurries, clearing out, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Daytime highs between -6 to -1, wind gusts of 60 expected. Prince Edward Island highs between -2 to -1. Snow transitions over to flurries for the remainder of the day, wind gusts of 70. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, flurries and/or showers expected, wind gusts of 60, highs between -2 to 4 degrees. And then for the rest of Nova Scotia, showers and/or flurries that will clear, leaving mainly cloudy skies, but a chance of isolated flurries returns into the evening, highs between -2 to +1. Labrador City, going to see a chance of flurries throughout your day with a high of -16 degrees, 5 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland, rain and/or snow, but looking at more so rain throughout your day. In terms of our Wednesday forecast, probably the warmest day of the work week for the Maritime region. Above seasonal daytime highs return yet again. Seeing a bit of sunshine, but for the most part, we will be seeing another low make its way over, bringing some mixed precipitation across parts of Nova Scotia and flurry activity for the remainder of the Maritime region. Newfoundland, Labrador still dealing with some lighter snowfall. And then into Thursday's forecast, we will be seeing temperatures cool just a bit. Mixed precipitation for parts of all 3 maritime provinces, as well as into Newfoundland. Labrador is still dealing with some snowfall as well. That will clear out into Thursday night, looking at partly cloudy skies and temperatures cooling back down yet again. That's a look at weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda for your national and international news headlines.
Thanks, Latavia. U.S. and Canadian stocks slumped as markets reacted to uncertainties surrounding U.S. President Donald Trump's new tariffs set to take effect today after the Supreme Court struck down some of his old ones. CTV's Judy Trin has more on what it means for Canada.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. Donald Trump's use of emergency economic powers to impose tariffs has been shackled by the Supreme Court, but the White House says it will use other tools to get what it wants.
We had to look at backup plans, and we found ways to really reconstruct what we're doing. Now it doesn't have the same flexibility.
Trump says he'll now impose new 15% global tariffs to replace the ones deemed illegal. He warned against playing games and threatened much higher tariffs if countries back out of trade agreements. In the past year, the U.S. took in more than 240 billion Canadian dollars in duties.
He needs to return that money, needs to refund that money with interest. He could do that in a nanosecond.
Lower courts will decide if refunds are needed. Amid the uncertainty, the European Union is pausing ratification of its deal with the U.S.
We are trying to maintain predictability for businesses, for consumers, in the face of some substantial unpredictability.
The Supreme Court decision won't apply to tariffs that are devastating Canadian steel, aluminum, automobiles, and softwood lumber. Earlier this month, some Republicans joined Democrats to vote against Trump's tariffs on Canada. Ontario's premier emphasized the president's weakening support.
We saw what happened in Congress. We saw what happened in the Supreme Court. The walls are closing in, I believe, on President Trump right now.
Protected under CUSMA, most Canadian companies will be exempt from Trump's new tariffs. The Prime Minister has yet to comment on the president's new threats, but Mark Carney is preparing for an overseas trip. He's heading to India, Australia, and Japan later this week to increase trade with those nations.
CTV's Judy Trin reporting in Ottawa. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll speak with Dalhousie's Robert Hewish about the 4-year anniversary since Russia invaded Ukraine. That conversation coming up next.
Today marks 4 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. It is Europe's biggest conflict since the Second World War. While casualty estimates vary widely, Russia's total casualties are just over 1.25 million, with 325,000 deaths. Joining us to talk about the anniversary is Robert Hewish, an associate professor of international development studies at Dalhousie. Good morning, Robert.
Hi, Brianne.
All right, so we've asked you this every anniversary. Do you think the conflict would be going on 4 years later?
No, and the answer remains, who would have thought that we'd be in this situation? The very opening salvo of attacks, many thought that Ukraine would fold quickly and it would be over and out. And here we are 4 years later, and now you have President Vladimir Zelensky saying that Russia is essentially taking the world into World War III. He was quoted that to the BBC just the other day. And 4 years into it, we're seeing that is almost an impossible situation for any victory to come out of this. The first problem is on the Russian side, right? That there's so much that Putin has put into the war effort in Russia. About 8% of the gross domestic product there is going to the war effort. So now Mr. Putin needs to keep that going because the rest of the Russian economy is in tatters. But he's got really very little to show for it. The casualties that you just mentioned there are catastrophic. There's no other nation, no other major power in the world that's taken that loss of life and has remained standing since World War II. And when you look at the amount of territory gained by Russia in 4 years, it's just about over 60 kilometers right now. So that's like the distance from Halifax to Chester. So there's really not much to say that the Russian army is going to do a quick sweep or victory like they did in World War II. And that's starting to hurt Mr. Putin at home. The other thing on the Ukrainian side is that some have said, well, could Ukraine just give up some of that territory and will Putin come to an end deal? Mr. Trump even argued for that. But that doesn't look very likely. And what Vladimir Zelensky says, if Russia isn't fighting Ukraine today, they're going to be fighting someone else tomorrow. So the front line remains in Ukraine. There's a series of fortified cities that are continuing to be attacked, but they're holding the line at this time. And this is where Europe, NATO, the United States, if there's any sort of discussion about a peaceful transition here, have to realize that the Russians will want to continue to fight no matter what, even though they're making zero gains.
Right. So have recent talks in Europe been beneficial at all?
Not widely, because there's no escape plan on either side. There's nothing that can be offered to Ukraine or to Russia to say, let's cool it all down. And the other factor is that you continue to see Mr. Putin start to attack civilian infrastructure like power grids. He put hundreds of thousands of people in Ukraine out of power for months when temperatures were minus 25. So if you can imagine that, cities like Calgary or Edmonton just being put into deep freezes for that time. And that's a strategy of trying to put as much pain on a civilian population as possible. So when you have one side of the debate, one side of the table saying, we want peace, we want to end it, but at the very same time they're inflicting civilian suffering, it's really hard to come to sort of any negotiation on that. It's going to continue to be a war of attrition. Which country, which side is going to run out of finances and support before this comes to a close?
So we'll continue to monitor that situation, but of course we can't let you go before touching on another conflict brewing. We have about 45 seconds here. The U.S. and Iran. Is America ready to attack?
Yeah, so I think if you were in Nova Scotia on Friday, you may have heard some very loud jet aircraft passing over the province, and those were massive U.S. Air Force fuel tankers on their way to Bulgaria that flew over the province. There's staging ground now both for air and sea all around Iran by U.S. forces, and the idea is that Mr. Trump is trying to push Iran into a deal, but again, they're lining up their entire Navy and Air Force in a way to strike Iran and keep going. And I think this is going to be a real situation to watch because Mr. Trump is not beyond bombing a foreign country.
Right.
Will this resolve anything? Probably not. Just look at Gaza. After 2 years of pounding Gaza with bombs and rubble, really, what's there to show for it? Hamas is still in power there.
Absolutely.
And that's just a small enclave.
Unfortunately, Robert, we do have to let you go here because there is so much to talk about, and we could talk for hours, but thank you so much for being here today, and we'll catch up with you very soon.
Okay, thanks.
Stay with us. CTV Morning Live will be right back after.
Coming up in 15 minutes, it's Tia Tuesday. Today we'll meet an entrepreneur who's helping people overcome adversity and live their best lives, from ruined to restored, on the Tuesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. It is 7:32, 8:02 if you are in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador, and starting to see some of that weather coming through Newfoundland and Labrador at this time. Of course, we still have weather conditions out there, and so our very own Emma Convey is reporting live for us out there. I feel her struggle because I've been that person.
Through many conditions and many snowstorms.
Yes.
And we appreciate it every single time.
100%. It's always good to get the latest on what's actually happening out on the roads and stuff because, of course, we're in the building and we pop our heads outside to take a little gander, but we don't necessarily get a big picture of what's actually happening on our roads. What's going to be happening on our roads today?
We've still seen some residual snow, blowing snow in parts of the Maritime region, but for the most part, that's going to start clearing out into the afternoon, thankfully.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Brianne, Newfoundland, Labrador being blanketed, walloped right now by this system.
A winter wallop.
Minus 3 degrees over in Brookvale, still seeing some blowing snow, as you can see in our live eye. Just keep that in mind when you are heading out. Roads across Prince Edward Island not as clean as we're seeing within the Maritime region, at least parts of the Maritimes early this morning. As of right now, -4 in Fredericton, -2 degrees starting off your day in Charlottetown, 2 degrees in Sydney, -3 in Halifax, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Still seeing the wind chill factor in early this morning, but we are going to see temperatures warm up into the afternoon. Same thing goes for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador, but we do have a risk of frostbite over Labrador City this morning. Something to keep in mind if you are heading out. A snowfall warning remains for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. A winter storm warning for all 3 maritime provinces. Also seeing a winter storm warning until this evening for parts of Newfoundland and into parts of Labrador with a blowing snow advisory. So taking a look at our satellite and radar for Nova Scotia, seeing snow mixed with rain, transitioning over to a chance of flurries for all 3 maritime provinces before clearing out, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Newfoundland, Labrador, as I mentioned, the heaviest of this system situated over there. So keep that in mind if you are heading out on an early morning commute. We are seeing mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland as well. In terms of the wind, it's still going to be breezy early this morning, 54 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 50 in Moncton, 41 into St. John, New Brunswick and Yarmouth, 43 in Halifax. Wind gusts still getting up to 72 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 63 into St. John, New Brunswick, 81 in Moncton and 50 in Charlottetown. We'll take another look at your forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. That is where we began. Maritimers once again waking up to more snow after a large and powerful nor'easter barreled through the region. Due to poor road conditions, all schools in Nova Scotia and PEI are closed today, as well as many, but not all, schools in New Brunswick. For more on the conditions in Halifax, we go live to CTV's Emma Convey. Emma.
Hi, Amanda. Again, it's cold out here. Not as much snow as you can see around me, but it is still blowing me around. Lots of slush. I'm actually standing on the roadway here. You can kind of see around it. Lots of puddles, slushy conditions. People are taking precaution on the road, driving pretty slowly. But we are seeing a lot of people out and about. I mean, I don't know if you can see behind me now, but I'm seeing some over by the commons there. People walking their dogs, high booties, big coats, bundled up. Traffic is starting to pick up. People heading to work in the morning, but as for buses, they're not happening, so those kiddos get a nice school day across Nova Scotia, as well as some of the schools in New Brunswick and all of them over in PEI. Looking at outages, we did see a lot overnight, and that's utilities across the region, really, but they actually are improving with outages here in Nova Scotia, PEI, and in New Brunswick. As for what we're seeing with snowplows and cruising on the roads right now, they are getting to those main roads first. That's the priority, as well as the side roads and the sidewalks. A number of them are actually pretty cleared on the main streets, but there are some sidewalks that are still quite a bit of slush. So just keep an eye out when you're walking, or even if you're out driving today. The city also is advising people to stay off the roads. If they have to, just drive with caution, give time and space. But at the end of the day, just be careful. It's slushy and it's cold, so bundle up if you are heading out and keep those layers. I know I am. Amanda.
It's good advice. We can hear the wind blowing around you, too. And we do have a full list of the impacts and cancellations on our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Emma, thank you so much. We'll check in again with you at 8 a.m. To other news of the morning, 5 people wound up injured after fire broke out in a house in Nova Scotia's Kings County over the weekend. The blaze broke out on Brooklyn Street around 10 a.m. 5 people had to be treated for smoke inhalation, including 2 who had climbed onto the roof and wound up getting hurt jumping off. A number of local departments responded, but the flames spread quickly and heavy equipment had to be brought in to pull the structure apart. The Red Cross is helping those impacted, and how the fire started is under investigation. In its latest budget, the Houston government is cutting the civil service and slashing the amount it distributes in grants in an effort to wrestle down its $1.2 billion deficit. Nova Scotia's finance minister says as revenues slow, spending needs to be reined in.
Came into government in 2021, we were facing many years of deferred maintenance in healthcare, in infrastructure, in schools, in services.
We see massive cuts and no explanation of where we will get back to balance. We don't see a province that's preparing itself for the real economic opportunities in front of it.
I would have held our departments to the budget that they were given. There was decisions made to give up revenue in terms of the bridge. There was a number of decisions made, and now guess who's paying for those bridge tolls? It's people that are losing their job.
This budget includes $18.9 billion in spending and a projected $17.3 billion in revenues, but there's also hundreds of job cuts to the civil service. A 5% reduction means the loss of 443 full-time jobs on top of the 162 already, while a 3% cut to the public service results in 423 fewer jobs at government agencies like Crown corporations and regional centers for education, while $130 million will be slashed in grants for social programming. Meantime, the province has introduced several new tax measures for electric vehicles and vaping to increase revenue. There is every likelihood the Jansen Baker double murder trial will wind up in the hands of the jury this week. The defense finished presenting its evidence yesterday. Baker stands accused in the shooting deaths of Bernard and Rosemary Saunier in their home in Dieppe in September of 2019. He's pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder. The jury was dismissed until tomorrow with strict instructions from the judge not to discuss the case or review any of the media coverage. Finally, here's a drone show illuminating the night sky in northwest China for its annual Spring Festival. Isn't it beautiful what drones can do? The show features more than 1,000 drones, all moving in sync. And displays include local historic sites, natural wonders, and a horse, of course.
A horse, of course.
Because the Chinese zodiac animal sign, which is the sign for this year.
Fire horse.
Fire horse, which is just really, really cool.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
How stunning is all of this?
I love it.
I can't believe that's drones. Like,
isn't it
whoa.
incredible what they can do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just beautiful.
It's at the palace.
It's gorgeous.
Incredible. And I wonder if those drones are a little bit more quiet, so you're not hearing the zoom.
Maybe they're just high enough up.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, we're going with national days today. That's my theme.
What is the national day now?
Another national day? Tortilla chip day. Oh, yeah. Who doesn't love a tortilla chip?
Storm chips.
So this day started in 1994 to recognize one of the most popular snacks. And, well...
We can hear the bag.
Oh, no. The chip has actually been around since the 1940s, but it wasn't until the 1970s that they really caught on and became mainstream. And now you can find flavors, which, you know, we somehow got flavors coming through.
Oh,
you're subjected to my favorite flavors of tortilla chips, and that's Doritos, Sweet Chili Heat, and Cool Ranch.
And the Cool
Ranch, bringing it back.
Oh yeah, you got it. Cool Ranch is a classic.
It is.
Are you going to the grocery store every day?
I mean, I do go to the grocery store every day because I am a single human being, and I therefore buy singly every day. As
oh my gosh. meal planning for the family for the week.
Yeah, no, I don't meal plan for the family for the week. So today it's Doritos. These are this is your treat.
Yum. You're the best.
Listen, speaking of food too, that kind of brings us to our Move Morning Chat, because today we're asking if you could only eat cuisine from one country.
My answer.
What country are you choosing? What are you thinking, Brianne?
Okay, well, I was gonna cop out and just say Canadian and then incorporate all of the cuisines that have come into Canada. I know that's a cop out. Originally, Thai was top of mind, but I have to go Mexican.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
I have to go Mexican.
Very fresh.
Because like I would eat guacamole every day for the rest of my life.
I was gonna say guac.
Perfectly happily.
Oh yeah.
So, and that would be it. I wouldn't even eat anything else. Just give me guacamole.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
maybe with these.
Maybe with these. Hey, perfect for a storm day, because a lot of people could be having storm chips.
Exactly. I was gonna buy storm chips, but I was like, but it's not storm chip day. It's tortilla chip day.
Tortilla chip.
That's alas.
Okay, coming up next, Root to Restored. In this week's Tia Tuesday, we'll meet a woman who's helping other people with their health and also rebuild and step into their purpose. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. The time now is 7:46. Taking a look at a winter wonderland over in Martok. As of right now, -3 degrees in your area. Not seeing any additional snowfall, but we are seeing some snowfall still remaining for parts of the Maritime region. A bit warmer starting off your day across the Maritimes. -4 degrees in Fredericton, -2 degrees early this morning in Charlottetown, -3 in Halifax, 1 degree in Sydney, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Still holding on to that snowfall warning for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. This will end a little bit later this morning. A snowfall between 2 to 5 centimeters of additional snowfall we're expecting. A winter storm warning also in effect. And ending later this morning for all 3 maritime provinces, seeing an additional 2 to 5 centimeters. Wind gusts between 60 to 70. A winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Newfoundland. This is until this evening at around 2 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts could get up to 100 kilometers per hour. Winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Labrador until tonight. Around 10 to 25 centimeters expected. Wind gusts between 60 to 80, and a blowing snow advisory until overnight tonight. So keep that in mind. You could see some poor visibility in your area. Over to our forecast timeline. So we are seeing that snow already transitioning over to flurry activity for parts of the Maritime region. For Nova Scotia, looking at rain mixed with snow, transitioning over to flurries and or showers into the afternoon, and then clearing out for parts of the province, leaving mainly cloudy skies. For Newfoundland, Labrador seeing the heaviest of this nor'easter situated over there. Visibility could become an issue with that snow, blowing snow early this morning. And we are also seeing mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland as those temperatures begin to warm up. Into the afternoon, we start to see that flurry activity clear out for parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Really beginning to clear out of all 3 maritime provinces as we head towards tonight. Temperatures will cool down yet again. Still seeing flurry activity for Cape Breton Island, and Newfoundland, Labrador still seeing that snowfall into early Wednesday morning. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, an additional 1 to 5 centimeters expected for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. North Mountain looking at around 5 to 10 centimeters of additional snowfall, and same thing goes for parts of Labrador, 1 to 10 centimeters of accumulation. Heaviest being for Newfoundland at around 10 to 15 centimeters for St. Anthony. In terms of our rainfall outlook, going to remain quite light for Cape Breton Island, eastern Nova Scotia, and seeing around 2 to 10 millimeters of precipitation for parts of Newfoundland. For forecasts today for New Brunswick, we are going to see that flurry activity clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Daytime highs ranging from -6 to -1, and wind out of the north, 40 gusting to 60. Prince Edward Island, -2 to -1 today. Snow transitions over to flurries for the remainder of the day. Wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour expected. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, flurries and or showers expected today. Daytime highs ranging from -2 to 4 degrees, and wind gusts of 60. For the rest of Nova Scotia, showers and or flurries will clear, leaving mainly cloudy skies into the afternoon, and then into the evening, isolated flurries will return. Wind gusts of 60 and highs between -2 to +1. Labrador City looking at a chance of flurries throughout your day. A high of -16 degrees today. 5 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain and or snow. But for the most part, seeing rain throughout your day as those temperatures begin to warm up. Wednesday's forecast, probably the warmest day for the Maritime region. We'll be seeing a mix of sun and cloud return for parts of the Maritime region, but we have another low pressure system bringing in some mixed precipitation our way. Showers and or flurries for the most part, seeing that mixed precipitation into parts of Nova Scotia. Newfoundland, Labrador still dealing with some light snowfall. And then into Thursday's forecast, temperatures cool down a bit, but still dealing with mixed precipitation for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. Newfoundland seeing that snow and or rain, and Labrador still dealing with some snowfall. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Tia Tuesday.
It's time for Tia Tuesday, a time when we highlight Black female entrepreneurs in our region. And this morning, the woman you're about to meet turns brokenness into healing by providing a safe space through her coaching and workshops to help people live their best lives. Tylene Smith is the owner and founder of Ruined to Restored, and she joins us now. It's nice to have you in.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. So let's start off with Ruined to Restored. What is it, and how was it created?
So Ruined to Restored is a personal development brand where I help women move from brokenness to wholeness through healing, restoration, and proven practical tools that I have used throughout my own healing journey. And I help women who have faced major life setbacks, such as loss, grief, trauma, addiction, even the weight of incarceration.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So my goal is to help women understand that their past does not have to define their future.
Well said.
Yeah.
And you only started this about 6 months ago.
Yes.
What made you want to start a program like this and to help these women?
So a little backstory, I found out my mother had breast cancer at a young age. I was 12 years old. And at that age, I wasn't able to process that information, you know, in a healthy way. So I sort of headed down a destructive path, and for 2 decades, I was stuck in the same cycles. And for a long time, I felt like my past would always define who I could become in the future. And, you know, that's just not the case, right? Once you have the tools, you can then begin to start to transform your life.
When did you start to recognize those tools and realize, I can use this to help other people?
So, you know, about 7 years ago, I realized that I needed a change, but I wasn't quite sure where to begin and where, you know, traditional therapy and counseling may work for some. It doesn't work for everyone. And if I would have had someone who had experienced some of the same things that I had, I feel like it would have been very beneficial. So I became that woman for other women.
That's fantastic to hear. What is it about your workshops? What are the values, the foundation of it? How does it work?
So I use my signature framework, the 3 R's, 3-2-1 method: remove, replace, restore. And we start by removing 3 things that are no longer serving you, that are hindering your growth. We then replace with 2 intentional healthy habits, and we restore 1 thing that has brought you joy or confidence in the past.
Oh, can you give us an example?
So let's say we start by identifying 3 things that are holding you back, which could be the party life, say, or maybe limiting beliefs, right? So we start by removing those things, and then we would replace them with 2 healthy habits, which could be anything like journaling or reading, things that sort of, you know, empower, right?
And set the change. What's the reaction that you've received so far, the feedback you've received?
Oh, I have received so much positive feedback from the women that I have worked with so far. I also work with organizations, women's organizations, ones that deal with women who have dealt with the justice system as well. That is near and dear to my heart. So, yeah.
And we wouldn't have you here on the show without the introduction from Tia. Tia is not here today, but I do want to bring her up because she's been a big mentor to you. How did you meet Tia, and how has she helped you on this journey?
So I've known Tia. I've known of her. I didn't know her personally. We sort of grew up in the same area, but I had a friend sort of reach out to me and explain, you know, how she's been helping all of these women and things like that. So I looked into it. I started following her, and I eventually reached out, and, you know, I wasn't quite sure what it was that I was looking for. I just wanted some information on one of her cohorts. And next thing I know, I was in her program and learning from her, and I'm just so grateful.
And we're grateful to have you here in your time. Very quickly, where can people go for more information?
I am on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the platforms.
All the platforms. Yes. Ruined to restored is what to look for. Tylene, thank you so much for your time today and for all the work that you do to improve the lives of women around the region.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, now it's over to health and medical news. Federal Health Minister Marjorie Michel is working on a strategy on men's and boys' health to be released later this year. The national online survey will launch in early March and will run until the beginning of June. Advocacy group Movember and researchers from the University of British Columbia released a report last summer calling on the federal government to create such a strategy. The group says 75,000 Canadian men died prematurely in 2023, and many of their deaths were from preventable causes. The report found a majority of men delayed seeking treatment for symptoms, and less than half felt listened to when they first received health care. Health Canada says taxpayers would save more than $12 million annually with improved men's health outcomes, with billions more in increased productivity. Canada would join a small group of countries, including the UK, Australia, and Brazil, that have adopted national men's health strategies. Finally, Health Canada has announced a recall for approximately 20,000 power banks across the country due to a potential fire hazard. Logix, a Vancouver-based company, is recalling its Piston Power 5000 mag power banks that were manufactured in China in several colors. The recall says the power banks may overheat when charging. The company has received 4 reports of incidents in this country, but no reports of injuries.
They were sold between January 2022 and July 2025.
Now we'd like to introduce you to the Maritimers who are marking milestones today. It's a 60th anniversary for Pat and Brenda Jones of Bridgewater, Nova Scotia.
Happy anniversary. I love the hat.
Gorgeous photo. Happy anniversary.
So great. It's also a 100th birthday for Alida Mayette of St. Louis de Kent, New Brunswick. Happy birthday, 100 years young.
Still glowing. Happy birthday. Well, to see your milestone again or to find out how to submit one, visit our website by scanning the QR code on your screen. And a reminder, milestones must be received 2 weeks in advance. Now we're going to take a look at our 3-day forecast. A high of -3 degrees today in New Brunswick. Isolated flurries will clear, leaving mainly cloudy skies on Wednesday, -4. Flurries transitions over to snow into the evening, and scattered flurries on Thursday, warming up to 2 degrees. For Nova Scotia today, rain and or snow will clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies for parts of the province. A high of 1. 0 on Wednesday, isolated flurries, evening snow, and then on Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud for much of the province. We will be seeing snow return for Cape Breton Island with a high of 3. Prince Edward Island, -2 degrees today. Some blowing snow transitioning over to flurries into the afternoon. Wednesday, -2, mix of sun and clouds. Snow returns into the evening. Then on Thursday, 1 degree with flurries.
It's Tuesday, February 24th. Today on your Morning Atlantic, winter wall up. Maritimers digging out after another powerful nor'easter slams the region. We'll have the latest on conditions and the impacts just ahead.
And hire a hen. We'll learn more about a maritime business that specializes in chicken coop and hen rentals. That's just ahead in Pet Talk Edition on your Morning Atlantic.
So why would you want to rent a hen?
Because
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Why am I here?
So I can crack you up.
Oh no, I'm just teeing her up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the viewers.
They love the yolks.
Don't encourage her.
I'm sorry. I'm ruffling your feathers.
How many of these do you have? I want to keep
going. That was what, 4 or 5?
Do you still have a book?
Maybe a dozen.
Half a dozen?
Half a dozen. Do I still have that book?
Yeah.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Purnell, why did the chicken cross the road? He teed that up and he said, I don't know.
Well, that's
Get to
not
the other
it.
side.
Yeah.
Do you remember that thing you say wrong? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other?
I used to.
What did you say?
I used to say 2 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Half a dozen of
and then it was my husband who's pointing out, you know how you always say that? That's not how you're supposed to say that. Anyways, no, genuinely looking forward to hearing more about Hire a Hen, because I've heard of this service before. I'm super intrigued.
You put it on my radar, and it's quite incredible.
It's pretty cool. Do you remember Morgan Campbell in Regina? So she was one of the anchors in Regina. She still is. She's still an anchor in Regina.
Yeah.
She has chickens.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, in her backyard. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't know if you're allowed chickens in your backyard in Regina, but fresh eggs. Like so much comes from having a chicken.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Certainly feeling for any farm owners out there, people who have large properties, large driveways that they have to clear after the snow system, because of course you still got to check up on the animals.
Yep,
That's
absolutely. You do have to check up on those chickens.
Yeah.
So what are they looking like today?
Well, there was a heavy dumping of snowfall, so a lot of clearing needs to take place. Here's a live look at Corner Brook. -1 starting off your day. It looks pretty calm over there, especially since we're seeing this system move over to Newfoundland and Labrador, bringing that heavier snowfall. As of right now, in the Maritime region, -4 in Fredericton, -2 degrees in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 1 degree in Sydney, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland, and then factoring in that wind chill. So it is feeling cooler this morning, especially with those breezy winds we're seeing across the region. We do have a risk of frostbite as well early this morning in Labrador City. That snowfall warning remains in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick, with a winter storm warning for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. Also seeing a winter storm warning in effect for Newfoundland and into parts of Labrador with a blowing snow advisory as well. So here's a look at our satellite and radar. We are starting to see that snow clear out for majority of the maritime region, still holding on to a bit of flurry activity, some mixed precipitation for parts of the Maritimes, especially across parts of Cape Breton Island and mainland Nova Scotia. And then into Newfoundland and Labrador, seeing that heavier snowfall, blowing snow with mixed precipitation as well for parts of Newfoundland. In terms of the wind, it is going to taper off into the afternoon, but as of right now, 54 kilometers per hour in North Cape, looking at 52 in Moncton, 41 in St. John, New Brunswick, 46 in Lunenburg, wind gusts of up to 72 kilometers per hour still in North Cape, 69 in Moncton, 63 in St. John, New Brunswick. We'll take another look at your forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. That's where we began. Atlantic Canadians waking up to more snow as a large and powerful nor'easter barreled down on the region. As Latavia mentioned, it's tapering off now, but due to poor road conditions, all schools in Nova Scotia and PEI are closed today, as well as many, but not all schools in New Brunswick. This is the sound that you're hearing around the region, people trying to clean up after the storm. Power companies around here were expecting outages. This morning, there are more than 2,700 Nova Scotia Power customers offline. Restoration times are set for early this afternoon. And in New Brunswick, close to 300 customers are without electricity. That's actually down from earlier this morning. Flights at local airports still seeing delays and cancellations, and ferries also impacted by the storm as well. For more on current conditions in Halifax, we go live to CTV's Emma Convey. Emma, how are conditions where you are right now?
Well, I wouldn't say they're too bad, Amanda, but one thing I want to pay close attention to is look how much snow there is and where do you put it all in Halifax? One place, this massive snowbank just off of Windsor Exchange here. It's almost twice the size of me. I mean, I'm not very tall myself, but that's still pretty big. And this is just one of many across the region here. Lots of snow. It's not snowing at this very moment, as Latavia mentioned, but it is still quite windy. It is quite cold. There are cars driving up and down the street to my left here. They look to be taking their time, but I would say the roads aren't too terrible. Very slushy, slippery, slick conditions, so take your time. Give lots of time this morning as well if you are heading into work. Be mindful of space as well. The city is advising people to stay off the roads if they don't have to be on them, but if you do, take extra caution this morning. We are seeing that schools are canceled across the region here in Nova Scotia, all of them in PEI, all of them in Nova Scotia, and as you mentioned, a few in New Brunswick. So kids are getting a nice snow day, so I'm sure they'll have lots of sledding opportunities with all these massive snowbanks as well. One thing to note, Halifax Transit's operating in its snow route as well as the Halifax ferries as well. They're operating just as normal, same delays as normal, the 30 minutes at Alderney Landing. But when we're looking around the region, I think it's fair to say that it is cold, so bundle up, stay warm, be mindful on the roads, as well as the sidewalks. They are getting around, crews are still out and about. I've seen a number of them across Halifax this morning, clearing those sidewalks, clearing those main streets as well. But again, be careful because it is still quite slick. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Emma. CTV's Emma Convey reporting live at the Windsor Street Exchange in Halifax. And yes, we do be mindful too of those large snowbanks when you're out walking or driving. A single vehicle crash in Western PEI has claimed the life of a 38-year-old man. RCMP say the man was driving on Route 2 in Carleton Monday morning when his vehicle veered off the road and rolled over. Police did not identify the victim, but they confirmed he was from Prince County. He was the only person in the vehicle and was pronounced dead at the scene. Police in New Brunswick looking for help in finding a suspect connected to an arson investigation. Kennebecasis Regional Police say they were called to a fire at a business on Enterprise Drive back on February 9th. Fortunately, the flames were extinguished quickly, but there was some damage, and investigators believe it was deliberately set. They think this vehicle may be connected. It's a 2006 or 2008 Ford Explorer with a loud exhaust. Anyone with information is asked to contact Kennebecasis Police. In its latest budget, the Houston government is cutting the civil service and slashing the amount it distributes in grants in an effort to wrestle down its $1.2 billion deficit. Nova Scotia's finance minister says as revenues slow, spending needs to be reined in.
Came into government in 2021. We were facing many years of deferred maintenance in healthcare, in infrastructure, in schools, in services.
We see massive cuts and no explanation of where we will get back to balance. We don't see a province that's preparing itself for the real economic opportunities in front of it.
I would have held our departments to the budget that they were given. There was decisions made to give up revenue in terms of the bridge. There was a number of decisions made, and now guess who's paying for those bridge tolls? It's people that are losing their job.
This budget includes $18.9 billion in spending and a projected $17.3 billion in revenues, but there's also hundreds of job cuts to the civil service. A 5% reduction means the loss of 443 full-time equivalent jobs on top of the 162 already, while a 3% cut to the public service results in 423 fewer jobs at government agencies like Crown corporations and regional centers for education, while $130 million will be slashed in grants for social programming. Meantime, the province has introduced several new tax measures for electric vehicles and vaping to increase revenue. Canadian Olympic athletes have been arriving home, and that includes a Maritimer we're all very proud of. There on the left, Moncton speed skater Courtney Sereau touching down to cheers from families and friends in Montreal last night. Sereau became the most decorated maritime Olympian in history, winning 4 medals at Milano Cortina 2026. Last night, she told reporters choosing a highlight from the experience was, well, nearly impossible. Finally, first responders in Ontario and Quebec took part in polar plunges over the weekend to raise funds for for the Olympics. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, specifically, this is for Special Olympics. It's a tradition Montreal's police force has upheld for 18 years, and last year's polar plunge raised over $1 million for Special Olympics Ontario. So maybe it's something that we could start around here.
Only if people wear Montreal Canadiens hats. No, but such a great cause. They do it, yeah, like you said, for the past 18 years. Wow. It's fantastic. Yeah, chilly but fantastic. Ooh. It's a good reset, though, you know, a nice cold plunge.
Wakes you right up.
Wakes you right up, shocks your system, and they have people there to help you, just in case.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I'd be right out of there. Woo-wee. Especially if your clothes are wet too.
Yeah, that's why they have first responders.
Oh,
is
come
it going?
On, you're gonna see
come
the
on,
mascot
let's
go.
Hey!
Yeah,
proud of you.
Plungy.
Way to go, Plungy.
A name like Plungy, you have to go in, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, after that, you need a nice hot cup of coffee.
Absolutely, yeah.
And yes, it's that time of year again. Roll up the rim. And Tim Hortons is actually celebrating 40 years. They brought back the cup, thank goodness, because you know how it was when they just had the prizes online. But you can actually double your rolls, so you can scan, and also you can roll up the rim on the cups. And if you go and buy actual stuff in store, you can even roll up on those products as well.
Wow.
Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting.
So, have you guys ever won big?
No.
No, just like a donut. Brienne just keeps hiding stuff behind this screen. Oh my God. Thank you. We're going to make some more coffee. We'll be right back.
Whoa, look at those waves over in Peggy's Cove this morning. Welcome back. The time now is 8:16. -2 degrees in your area. Still expecting a chance of showers and or flurries early in the morning. Clearing out for the most part, as you can see here, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app. A warmer start to the day for much of the region. As of right now, -4 degrees heading outdoors in Fredericton, -2 in Charlottetown and into Halifax, 1 degree in Sydney, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. A snowfall warning remains for Prince Edward Island and parts of New Brunswick. This will be ending a little bit later this morning. Could see an additional 2 to 5 centimeters of accumulation. Winter storm warning for parts of all 3 maritime provinces ending a little bit later this morning as well. Snowfall 2 to 5 centimeters, wind gusts between 60 to 70. A winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Newfoundland until this evening at around 2 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts between 60 to 100, and also seeing a winter storm warning until later tonight for parts of Labrador, 10 to 25 centimeters of snow, and wind gusts between 60 to 80 with a blowing snow advisory also in effect until overnight tonight. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. We are going to see a bit of flurry activity still remain for parts of the Maritime region early this morning. That will clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies for parts of Nova Scotia. Looking at flurries and or showers, that will also clear out for the most part. For Newfoundland and Labrador, seeing the heaviest of this system, could see some blowing snow as well. Keep that in mind when you are heading out. Visibility could become an issue, and some mixed precipitation into parts of Newfoundland as those temperatures begin to rise. For the Maritimes into the evening, for the most part, we see this system clear out, still holding on to a bit of flurry activity for parts of Cape Breton Island. Newfoundland, Labrador still holding on to that mixed precipitation, taking us into early Wednesday morning. So in terms of those totals, going to be quite light, an additional 1 to 5 centimeters expected for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. And then into parts of Labrador, looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters, and the heaviest being to St. Anthony. For Newfoundland, looking at around 10 to 15. In terms of our rainfall, quite light for Cape Breton, parts of eastern Nova Scotia, and around 2 to 10 millimeters expected for parts of Newfoundland. For New Brunswick, already seeing that flurry activity clearing out, leaving mainly cloudy skies with daytime highs between -6 to -1, wind gusts of 60 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island will see snow transition over to a chance of flurries for the remainder of the day, highs between -2 to 0, wind gusts of 70. Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, seeing that mixed precipitation, a chance of showers and or flurries. Daytime highs ranging from -2 to 4 degrees and wind gusts of 60. For the rest of Nova Scotia, showers and or flurries will clear, leaving mainly cloudy skies with highs between -2 to +1. Labrador City, a chance of flurries expected throughout your day with a high of -16. 5 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain and or snow, but with that daytime high transitioning over to rain. For our forecast on Wednesday, temperatures warming up, probably the warmest for the work week for the Maritime region at least. We are going to see mixed precipitation return into early Thursday morning. That will continue as well. Tapering off a bit, but still seeing a chance of flurries and or showers for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. Mixed precipitation yet again for parts of Newfoundland, Labrador dealing with snowfall. That will clear out into Thursday night, leaving partly cloudy skies, temperatures cooling back down. Now we'll take a look at our national and international news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. Air Canada, WestJet, Air Transat, and Porter are resuming operations to Mexico today after a wave of violence rocked the country, prompted by the killing of a notorious cartel kingpin. Global Affairs Canada says the situation remains fluid and that there are more than 26,000 Canadians registered in Mexico. CTV's Avery Haynes has more from Mexico City.
Retaliation for the killing of Jalisco New Generation cartel leader El Mencho has been fiery and swift. From the streets to stores to the airport in Guadalajara, armed narcos storming in with travelers running for their lives. At least 73 people have been killed, including 25 members of the National Guard and cartel members. Mexico is on edge with fears about what might come next.
Pueden estar tranquilos de que
Here in Mexico City, President Claudia Sheinbaum urges calm. But killing El Mencho has not killed his powerful cartel, which controls huge swaths of the country. In 2023, W5 interviewed El Mencho's hitmen called Sicarios for a documentary on their control of the avocado industry. They brought their firepower to that interview, insisting they live and die by the mantra that to instill fear and terror is to control. The Jalisco cartel is known for its extreme and very public displays of violence, not just killing, but dismembering and displaying their crimes publicly. The capture and killing of El Mencho follows intense pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump and threats of a U.S. military strike if the flow of drugs flooding into the U.S. doesn't stop.
President Trump has been outspoken about his desire to see Mexico do more.
The question remains, is taking out the leader enough to stop the violence and stop the drug flow? Or will rival cartels smell weakness and wage war to gain territory of the Jalisco cartel?
CTV's Avery Haynes reporting in Mexico City. That is a look at international news. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll get details on Hire a Hen. That's coming up in Pet Talk.
On the newest edition of Pet Talk, we are talking chickens. Hire a Hen is a Nova Scotian organization located in Springfield that offers a very unique service to families wanting to dip their toes or talons into chicken keeping without a full commitment. So if you're thinking of having a backyard chicken coop, Hire a Hen may be the place to call. Joining us this morning to share the details, we welcome Stephen Broom, a Hire a Hen customer who's actually serving as a chicken ambassador this morning. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
So first of all, tell us about Hire a Hen.
Hire a Hen is, as you said, a family-run business. It's a mother and son team in Springfield. And the idea is that for those of us who don't have heated burns or don't know that we really want to get into farming 12 months of the year, Hire a Hen rents you a number of hens, 2, 3, as many as you want. And you can get a package that will include a chicken coop, which is fortified against critters, so nobody can get in to hurt your chickens. You can get run that goes with it, so your girls can get out and prance around and find bugs. Also in your package, you receive a water and food dish. You receive a large bag of feed, certainly enough to get you going. Some what they call bedding, which is shavings or straw, so your girls can bed down happily at night. And you get them when in the spring, when the weather is warm enough that they can be safely housed without a heating unit. And you get to keep them until, well, last year it was early November before they went back. It depends on how late the summer will hold, the warm weather will hold, but they are there with you until you are ready to send them back because it's too cold.
Oh my goodness, I love this idea. This is absolutely incredible. So how did you get involved? What drove you to want to get some hens in your backyard?
I had hens when I grew up near here, outside of Bridgewater. And when I was a kid, we had chickens, we had hens. And so I was used to the idea, but then I grew up and got a life and went away. When I came back to retire, I saw on Facebook one of my old high school teachers was promoting Hire a Hen. And I thought, this sounds fascinating because it sounds like absolutely the right deal for me. I don't want to deal with barnyard animals in the snow, but I would love to have these girls around to get fresh eggs. So I just went online and contacted Denise at Hire a Hen, and we got going. We hit it off like a house on fire, and the chickens came. The first year we had 2 the first year, and then we've had 3 ever since.
Okay, so this is a recurring thing that you've decided to keep doing.
Oh, yes, I think we're going into our 5th year. This year. We love it. And
so I heard
the fresh eggs. I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
When you go down to the coop in the morning and pick up an egg that's still warm because it just came out of her, and bring it up and crack it and put it in your frying pan, there is just nothing like that. Nothing you get in the grocery store where they've been around probably for a month is going to come close to that taste experience. It's lovely.
Oh, I could only imagine. Well, I may have to call Hire a Hen as well to pick up some chickens for the summer. Thank you so much. Take care, Stephen.
You're quite welcome. And get some hens. You'll love it.
Yeah, I think I might have to. And that was Stephen Broom with Hire a Hen. Taking a live look at Masstown as we head to break. Currently -1. We're starting to see those flurries clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies in your area. Time now, 8:28. Stick with us. We'll be right back right after this.
Still ahead, redefine your hairline. We'll learn about a non-invasive, semi-permanent cosmetic tattoo that helps cover bald spots, thinning areas, even scars. Details on SMP in 15 minutes on YMA.
Welcome back, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 8:31 on your Tuesday. We're slowly starting to see the system clear out of the Maritime region. Thank goodness, because it was quite a storm.
Yeah, messy conditions out there.
Yes.
Slushy,
wet. We have someone who can attest to that, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Just a moment. I worry about when we may get a deep freeze, right? If all these slushy conditions are sticking around.
You did say there's warmer weather.
There is. So we're going to see that back and forth tonight, cooling back down. So it's going to be quite cold for parts of the region, warming back up. So we could see that freezing, but then we'll see that melting, right?
Good.
So
that's a relief.
Yeah, nothing too major, at least.
That's good. I mean, concerned for drains, but...
That is very true. Never mind. Here's a live look at Lunenburg, -2 degrees starting off your day. As you can see, though, the snow has ended over there. Just a cloudy day ahead. We are starting to see this system really begin to clear out of the Maritime region, but still seeing it over in Newfoundland and Labrador. So keep that in mind when you are heading out. -2 degrees in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 1 degree in Sydney, -4 in Fredericton, -19 in Labrador City with 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland. Here's a look at that wind chill. Still factoring in early this morning, but temperatures will rise a little bit later on, with that risk of frostbite over in Labrador City remaining early in the morning. A snowfall warning still remains for parts of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Winter storm warning now ended for parts of Nova Scotia. Still remains for parts of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island, with a winter storm warning for parts of Newfoundland and into parts of Labrador, and a blowing snow advisory. So as I mentioned, we're starting to see a chance of flurries clear out of the Maritime region, still dealing with a bit of mixed precipitation for parts of Nova Scotia and into parts of Newfoundland. Still seeing that heavier system as well for Newfoundland and Labrador, with that blowing snow early this morning. In terms of the wind, it will become lighter into the afternoon, but as of right now, 52 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 48 in Moncton, 41 in Yarmouth. Wind gusts of up to 63 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 67 in Moncton, 59 in Halifax. We'll take one last look at your long-range forecast, but first, one last look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. And the cleanup continues this morning after this powerful nor'easter barreled through the region. Due to poor road conditions, all schools in Nova Scotia and PEI are closed today, as well as many schools in New Brunswick. For more on conditions in Halifax, we go live to CTV's Emma Convey, who is on the corner of Yonge and Ropey Street. Emma.
Yes, Amanda, the conditions are looking a little bit better out here. Could be because it's not snowing, easier to see. But as for the roads, very slushy. You can even see behind me a massive puddle. I've been now hit twice with a big gust of slush. Holding my breath, it's gonna happen again. Very, very deep puddles here. I would say it's above my ankles by a lot, actually. And it's cold out here, so bundle up if you're heading outside. Lots of traffic you can kind of see behind me here. People are on their way to work, morning commutes, but they are taking precaution. They are taking their time. Just because it is a bit slippery, still a bit slick out there, so be mindful if you are heading out this morning. Won't be a problem for buses, though, with, you mentioned, schools being canceled for the region. So a very slushy snow day for kids in Nova Scotia, PEI, and many in New Brunswick as well. Bus routes are still operating here in Halifax. There's snow plan, I should add. Here we go, man. It's probably going to happen again. Okay, not too bad, but it definitely is very slushy and very wet out there. So drivers, be careful. And I hope you're warm in there, Amanda. Go right ahead. That is just the way of morning TV, I take it. I will send it back to you in studio, Amanda.
I'm also dry. I'm warm and I'm dry. And it's your turn now. We have towels in the studio, so I think you can come on in now. Thank you so much. CTV's Emma Convey reporting live on the very slushy, puddle-like conditions in Halifax this morning. Thank you so much, Emma. To other news of the morning, there is every likelihood the Jansen Baker double murder trial will wind up in the hands of the jury this week. The defense finished presenting its evidence Monday. Baker stands accused in the shooting deaths of Bernard and Rosemarie Saunier in their home in Dieppe in September of 2019. He's pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder. The jury was dismissed until Wednesday with strict instructions from the judge not to discuss the case or review any of the media coverage. In its latest budget, the Houston government is cutting the civil service and slashing the amount it distributes in grants in an effort to wrestle down its $1.2 billion deficit. Nova Scotia's finance minister says as revenues slow, spending needs to be reined in.
came into government in 2021, we were facing many years of deferred maintenance in healthcare, in infrastructure, in schools, in services.
We see massive cuts and no explanation of where we will get back to balance. We don't see a province that's preparing itself for the real economic opportunities in front of it.
I would have held our departments to the budget that they were given. There was decisions made to give up revenue in terms of the bridge. There was a number of decisions made, and now guess who's paying for those bridge tolls? It's people that are losing their job.
This budget includes $18.9 billion in spending and a projected $17.3 billion in revenues. But there's also hundreds of job cuts to the civil service. A 5% reduction means a loss of 443 full-time equivalent jobs on top of the 162 already, while a 3% cut to the public service results in 423 fewer jobs at government agencies like Crown corporations and regional centers for education, while $130 million will be slashed in grants for social programming. Meantime, the province has introduced several new tax measures for electric vehicles and vaping to increase revenue. Finally, Canadian Olympic athletes have been arriving home, and that includes a Maritimer many are very proud of. Moncton speed skater Courtney Sereau on the left touched down to cheers from families and friends in Montreal just last night. Sereau became the most decorated Maritime Olympian in history, winning 4 medals at Milano Cortina 2026. And last night she told reporters choosing a highlight from the experience was nearly impossible.
Getting 4 medals, I feel like that was a highlight every time. Just the whole experience, the Olympic experience, meeting the other athletes, watching other sports, kind of seeing all of Canada come together to support their athletes. It's just been a crazy experience and yeah, I'm just super proud to represent Canada and have that support behind me. And they were there for every medal and even I fell in my last distance. They were all there rooting for me still and proud of me regardless.
Courtney's success at the Games seems to have sparked a renewed interest in the sport of speed skating in her home province of New Brunswick and beyond. By the way, family members, they asked, show us the medals at the airport, but she was heard to say that they'd have to wait because she had packed them.
That's fair.
I mean, when you have so many.
I mean, 4, that weighs you down.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how heavy they actually are.
Right?
Ooh, good for her. Back. It must just feel like such a whirlwind for these athletes, too, you know?
Right?
Time seemed to go a little bit long, right? When we're watching the Olympics and getting so hyped, but I bet for them while they're actually in the village and everything, it's like, woo-choo!
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, and now so many Maritimers know the name Courtney Sereau.
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it. So many Canadians, not just Maritimers.
It's true. It's true.
I know it's not soccer weather outside. But we're 2 short months away from kickoff for our 2 professional leagues here in Halifax. So the Tides will actually talk to tomorrow. But the Wanderers are getting acquainted with their new coach.
My favorite video game.
Do you play video games?
Yeah, now not too much. Yeah. I played a lot, Football Manager when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then one of my greatest satisfaction that now I am in the game. That is fun. That is
Yes, Benny Sartini was appointed to the team in December 2025, and needless to say, the Italian coach can relate to the team. Of course, he joins with more than just a video game on his resume. He actually has made the cross-country travel, previously holding a position for the Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS.
Wow.
So, welcome to the East Coast.
Amazing.
You and me both. Actually, fun fact, I ran into him in Vancouver, literally the day after I decided that I was coming back.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, so you and me in Halifax? And he was like, see you there.
Amazing.
One coast to the next. I love that. He seems like a good guy, too. Good energy.
Great energy, great experience. Of course, he's worked overseas in Northern Ireland. He's worked in Wales. He's worked for the Vancouver team. So, yeah, lots of experience and a pretty, he's in a video game, so, It's got to be good. That's epic.
I know, seriously.
Listen, a lot of people looking forward to the spring and summer now, especially. Yeah.
Yes, but we also have lots happening in our region.
Yes, even during the winter. Yeah. We'll take a look at our community calendar. So Planet Fitness and BGC Canada are inviting Moncton families and community members to take part in the in-club activities to honor Pink Shirt Day. So it's spreading kindness and belonging. And as part of the organization's shared purpose of improving youth well-being to create healthier communities, there will be events across clubs from today until the 27th. So for additional details, head over to planetfitness.ca. And over in Summerside, the Winter Shine series returns with the Saltwater Dollies, bringing their vibrant blend of Celtic and Acadian folk music to the Scott McCauley Performing Arts Center, featuring acclaimed multi-instrumentalists, the Arsenault family. So this duo delivers heartfelt performances rooted in their Acadian heritage. This performance will take place February 26th at 7:30 p.m. Get tickets over at that website. And in Halifax, you can join the Museum of Natural History for their Wee Wild Ones. This sounds so cute. I got to take my kids. It's a fun program where kids under 5 and their caregivers can explore the wonders of nature, enjoy stories and puppet shows, enjoy real museum specimens, and build with tree blocks. This is so cute. It actually runs every Tuesday, and it's from 10 to 11.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's do that back when our wee one was a wee one.
Oh, more wee ones.
So cute. So if you have an event coming up, send us the details, Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca. We'd love to promote it on our community calendar. Time now, 8:42. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The time now is 8:45. We're taking a live look at Perth, Andover. Starting to see those flurries clear out of your area. Cold, though, this morning, -7. We are seeing cooler temperatures for parts of Atlantic Canada, but others are warming up. As of right now, -4 degrees in Fredericton with -2 in both Charlottetown and Halifax, 1 degree in Sydney and into St. John's, Newfoundland. A snowfall warning remains for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. This will end a little bit later this morning, but in terms of snowfall, an additional 2 to 5 centimeters is expected. Winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick, looking at around 2 to 5 centimeters of snowfall and wind gusts between 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. A winter storm warning until this evening for parts of Newfoundland at around 2 to 20 centimeters of snow, wind gusts between 60 to 100 kilometers per hour. With that winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Labrador until tonight, looking at around 10 to 25 centimeters of snowfall, wind gusts between 60 to 80. A blowing snow advisory also in effect for parts of Labrador until overnight tonight. Something to keep in mind if you are headed out in those communities. We could see poor visibility in your area. Over to our forecast timeline. For the Maritime region, starting to see this flurry activity clear out for parts of the Maritimes. In terms of Nova Scotia, though, we do have snow and or showers for parts of the region, and that will clear out as well, tapering off, leaving mainly cloudy skies for parts of Nova Scotia. Other than that, Newfoundland and Labrador are still situated under this system. We are going to see snow, blowing snow in your area. Newfoundland, because of those warming temperatures, we are going to see snow and or showers in your area, seeing a bit more rain for parts of the province. Into the afternoon, we are going to see that clearing, and into the evening, much of the Maritime region sees that clearing, just a cloudy night ahead. But we do still have parts of Cape Breton Island holding on to some flurry activity, taking us into early Wednesday morning as we start to see that taper off as well. If you're wondering about additional snowfall totals, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of all 3 maritime provinces, 1 to 10 centimeters of accumulation across Labrador. For Newfoundland, the heaviest being 10 to 15 centimeters for St. Anthony. In terms of our rainfall, going to remain quite light for parts of eastern Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island. Newfoundland looking at around 2 to 10 millimeters. If you're wondering about our forecast today for New Brunswick, starting to see that flurry activity clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Daytime highs will range from -6 to -1. Wind gusts still getting up to 60 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island highs between -2 to 0. Snow transitions over to flurries for the remainder of the day. Wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, highs between -2 to 4 degrees, being the warmest into Sydney. Flurries and or showers expected today with wind gusts of 60. For the rest of Nova Scotia, showers and or flurries will clear, leaving mainly cloudy skies. We do have a chance of some isolated flurries returning into the evening, highs between -2 to 1. For Labrador City, minus 16 degrees today. A chance of flurries expected throughout your day. 5 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland. Looking at rain for the remainder of your day. For Wednesday's forecast, a bit of sunshine returns, but also does mix precipitation into later Wednesday night, carrying into early Thursday morning. We are going to see that mixed precipitation for mainland Nova Scotia into the southern region of the province as well. Newfoundland, Labrador still dealing with some lighter snowfall. And then into Thursday afternoon, mixed precipitation for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. Temperatures start to cool down yet again, but this system clears out, leaving a bit of cloudy skies into the evening, but temperatures definitely going to warm up yet again for Friday. That's a look at your weather forecast. Now we'll take a look at SMP. If you're struggling with hair loss, SMP may be something you want to explore. So scalp micropigmentation is a popular non-surgical cosmetic hair tattoo designed to mimic hair follicles. So to learn more about this procedure, we welcome in master permanent makeup artist Val Fougier, the founder of HD Beauty. Good morning, Val.
Thank you. Good morning.
So first of all, we'll start off with your business. Tell us about your business and how you set yourself apart from others in the industry.
So I've been in the permanent makeup business for over 12 years now. I specialize mostly in brows, so nano hyperrealism eyebrows and lip blush treatments, also camouflage, and the newest and most popular growing service is the scalp micropigmentation.
So can you dive into a little bit more of what that is?
Yes, for sure. So it's basically a non-invasive, it's basically a tattoo where I implant small little dots of pigment into the scalp that resemble a hair follicle. So it makes your hair look fuller, or it can create also a shaved head look, depending on the client's goals.
So your work is absolutely incredible. I've seen so much of all your services that you provide. So when it comes to SMP, who is the person that this is geared towards?
So this is anyone looking to create fuller hair, whether you have bald spots, postpartum shedding, alopecia, anyone who, is struggling with hair loss, also like just creating a fuller hairline.
That's amazing. So when it comes to your other services, I know you kind of touched on them. Can you explain to us a little bit more about what nano
For sure. So the nano eyebrows is basically creating ultra fine hair-like strokes with pigment that looks so natural. And basically I work with your own natural brow flow, so your own hair growth, to create the most natural look possible.
Absolutely. And your services has now recently moved. I know you have a big clientele.
Yes.
So where do new people find you at?
For sure. So we are now located at 1175 Bedford Highway. So we are a cooperative clinic. So there's 3 of us. Marina, Clean Canvas, Tattoo Removal, Jess Oliver Lashes, and myself, Val, HD Beauty by Val.
Amazing. We can find you online as well.
Absolutely. hdbeautybyval.ca, www.hdbeautybyval.ca. We are also having a grand opening next month, March 22nd. We're going to have lots of prizes, games, lots of fun stuff, giveaways, and it's going to be so much fun. So hope all can make it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And when it comes to SMP, if people are interested but not sure if it's for them, can they just contact you?
Yes, definitely recommend a consultation for sure. It's one of those treatments that I want to assess your scalp and your needs prior.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Val.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely a pleasure. And that was Val Fougier, the founder of HD Beauty by Val.
Well, I am hungry for my breakfast lunch.
Yes.
Right now.
Breakfast lunch of champions.
Exactly. 9 o'clock, time to eat. Okay, we want to talk about our Move morning chat, because today we're asking if you could only eat cuisine from like one country. Which country are you choosing and why? And Debbie is my girl from Halifax because she's with me. Indian food.
Yeah, fair enough.
You got to try beeplos in Dartmouth. It's now called nonsense, though.
Okay. Nonsense.
Yeah, good to know.
Boom. Catchy.
Boom. Sabrina from Hammonds Plain says Mexican food.
Sabrina's on my train.
All the way.
Yep.
So good, so fresh.
So fresh. Guacamole. Let's go.
Let's go. And finally, we have definitely Lebanon. Lebanese food is the best.
Oh, tabbouleh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, tabbouleh's good.
Yes.
So thank you to the viewer who sent us that
Fattoush
text.
salad. Yeah, sorry. Now I'm just starving.
Now we're hungry. Finally, this one, it's not about food, but it's a cute viewer photo. Thank you to Patty Collingwood from PEI for sending this to us. This is Holly, and Patty texts wondering how she was getting out the door.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Holly, go for it.
And Holly's like, Mom, I really got to go, but I don't want to go.
Mom, I don't want to go.
No, maybe not. My black lab, right out there. Oh my God.
Like cartoon style with like the
jumps into it, and then he swims in it in our walk. Like he will go up on snowbanks, and he just swims.
And you've ever met Dewey? If you've ever met Dewey, I can definitely picture it.
Oh yeah,
the Dewster.
The Dewster.
Oh yes, it's so funny. So my sister has the French bulldogs, right?
Oh,
and so the one like loves the snow and is jumping around and super happy to be out there, the boy. And then Lucy, the girl, she's like, absolutely not. That's a no from me, dog.
So cute.
Looking up with her RBF and, you know, just living her best life.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's fun to see their reaction.
Yeah.
Well, this show has come to a close, but we hope you'll join us on Wednesday. We're going to get the scoop on the upcoming season for the Halifax Tides.
Might not seem like soccer weather, but we'll get there eventually.
Exactly.
We're also going to visit our partners at Ken to check out the paint department just in time for those spring spruce ups.
Oh yeah, and lifestyle contributor Taylor Kay will share the latest tasty products from Cavendish Farms. Yum.
Yes. Yes, please. French fries. We're continuing on this this food theme.
Yeah. I know, it makes us really, really hungry. Well, we hope you enjoy your Tuesday. Good luck with all the snow clearing. We'll see you tomorrow.